Hey, what's up guys? It's Josh here at Porter Valley Ranch, and today we're going to talk about hay. So if you live in the farming community, it is no surprise that there is a hay shortage in America. Everybody's talking about it. And by hay shortage, I mean two things. I mean, number one, there is a shortage of hay coming in off the fields of America's farms. And number two, there is shortage of money in American farmers' pockets to pay for that hay. That's where we are. I just went and bought some hay just the other day, a full trailer load, and it cost me 3 times what it cost me at this exact same time of the year last year. So 300% increase in 1 year. And if you have done any shopping, you know that's true. There are a lot of reasons for the hay shortage and the cost increase. I'm not going to talk about that today. We actually just did a video for Hobby Farm Magazine. That video will be coming out soon. We talked about why there's a hay shortage, where you can find hay, and how you can maximize your hay. So be looking for that video. We'll put a link in the description below when that video drops. But today we're not going to talk about that because see, we're small business owners. We've been self-employed for 17 years. And the only way we've been able to stay self-employed as small business owners is to adapt to the climate around us. So in a climate like this, when hay is so crazy expensive, you only have a couple of options. Number one, you can try to find cheaper hay or an alternative way to feed your animals. Number two, you can find a way to feed less hay because it's so expensive. Or number three, you can find a way to make more money off of your animals since the cost of raising those animals is more expensive. Here at Porter Valley Ranch, we're going to go with option number three. So if you're like us and you have a hobby farm, you are going to have to find a way to make up that deficit in the cost of feed in feeding your animals. You only have a couple options. You can increase your prices, you can try to sell off some of your livestock, you can do things like that. Or you can take this hay shortage and you can find ways to make money off of it. So here we go. I'm going to give you 3 ways that you can make money off of the hay shortage. Number one is going to be buy early and sell late. There's a hay calculator online that I'm going to link in the description below. I can take my animals and I can figure out exactly how much hay I'm going to need to get them through the winter. I'm going to figure about 6 months because I think it's going to be a pretty harsh winter, and because of the drought we've been in, we just don't have much grass to sustain our animals very far into the fall. So we're going to take 6 months and we're going to say, for an example, that we're going to need 50 bales of hay. We're going to need a lot more than that, but let's just say 50. So 50 bales of hay is what I need to find. If I buy square bales like the ones behind me of grass hay, and I'm paying $8 to $10 a bale for this hay. So I need 50 bales. What I'm going to do is I'm going to find a local source where I can buy 3 times that amount. I'm going to buy 150 bales. Now, I know that seems like a lot, but there's a couple reasons. Number one, because of the drought, I'm expecting to have to feed a lot more hay than I usually do. So if I usually go in feeding 50 bales, I'm going to buy 150 so that I have a surplus in case I have to feed them more throughout the winter. The other thing that I'm going to do with that hay is I'm going to sell it. I'm not going to sell it right now. I'm going to wait until the demand goes up, which means the price is also going to go up. That's the way capitalism works, especially here in America. Supply and demand. The supply is low. We already know that. And the demand is high, but it's not that high yet because people aren't desperate. See, what I'm anticipating is that people kind of cheap out and they buy less hay than they think they're going to need because it's so expensive. And as they get to the end of the winter before spring starts hitting, they're going to run out of hay. They're going to have to buy it. I think the price is going to go up, and that's when I'm going to sell my extra hay and make some extra money. Number two, I'm going to sell my animals or butcher my animals early in the season. You see, you have to feed grain and hay throughout the winter to get them ready to butcher. There's usually a certain date that people go into that they're going to butcher their livestock. I'm going to say push that up. Get it early. That way you don't have to feed them as much, and if you cut back on your livestock numbers, you also cut back on the amount of hay and grain that you're feeding out. Grain is also more expensive. We're not even talking about that today. We're just talking about hay. So make sure you go into it with a good plan of when you're going to sell, when you're going to send them to the butcher, and I would suggest that you do it earlier than you usually do so that you can kind of jump that line. You can save the hay and grain resources that you have, but you can still get a good return on the effort that you put in. The third thing that we're going to do to make money off of this shortage is we're going to buy livestock. I know it sounds counterproductive to buy animals when you're trying to save money, but you see, we have to make extra money, not save money. So I'm anticipating that going into this hay crisis, people are going to run out of hay. They're going to run out of space, they're going to run out of time, and they're going to have to sell some of their animals. So what we've done is we have set aside some cash that we know we can comfortably spend on increasing our herd and increasing our flock. And when the people have to sell because they're in a desperation mode, we're going to buy low. Then we're going to hold on to those things through the summer, and going into the fall, we're going to sell back high. Here at Porter Valley Ranch, we really look at our farm as a business. We own other businesses, and we look at this the same way. Even though it's fun and it's something we do as a family and we enjoy, we also have to look at the profits and expenses. We have to look at spreadsheets and numbers just like we would in any business, and I highly encourage you to do the same thing. So make sure you're taking a look at the upcoming hay crisis, at the hay shortage, and making sure that number one, you're taken care of and your animals are taken care of, but two, try to find a way to not just save money, but also make money during this crucial time.